Welcome back. You are watching KTN Newsdesk. Many thanks for staying with us. Kanu is currently holding a National Executive Council meeting in Nakuru to decide which way it will go in the coming general election. The party last week failed to declare which presidential candidate the party would support in the August polls. Those attending the meeting in Nakuru include the party national chairman, Gideon Moi, and party secretary general, Nick Salat. Well, that meeting is still ongoing in Nakuru, and we'll definitely be bringing you more details as that particular story continues to develop. And still on matters politics, ODM leader Raila Odinga is at this hour receiving several leaders from Kajiado and West Pokot counties who have defected from Jubilee. The event is taking place at the ODM headquarters here in Nairobi, and our reporter Patrick Amimo is currently following up this at the Orange House and joins us live. Very good afternoon to you, Patrick. This is quite a harvest for ODM leaders, but who are defecting from Jubilee to ODM?
Thank you, Akisa. Indeed, the Orange Democratic Party leader Raila Odinga is meeting several delegations here. There are 3 delegations, one from Kwale, another one is from Kajiado, and the third delegation is from West Pokot. Currently, the ODM party leader has been meeting a delegation from Kwale. This is a county that lost ODM Senator Boy Juma Boy, and the family had suggested that the brother Isa Juma Boy succeeds the late brother. And also we have in the Kwale County, there's also another ODM branch has suggested that Dr. Zani's brother, that is Nicholas Zani, should be the senator for Kwale County. So there are two contestants on ODM ticket. That is the late brother for Juma Boy Juma, and that is Isa Juma, and Dr. Agnes Zani's brother Nicholas Zani, who want to contest on that party ticket. So the delegation is here to meet Raila Odinga to square it out and see maybe who will pick that party ticket on when it comes to the senator position. The Kajiado delegation is mainly composed of women who have been supporting Jubilee in the past, but now there's a change of heart. They've decided now to put their support to ODM. And now again, from the same Orange House, we have a delegation from West Pokot, and I'm now joined with their chairperson, Joseph Akule, just to tell us why these delegation from Pokot, why it's felt it very necessary to come to Orange House and meet party leader Raila Odinga. Joseph.
Yes, my name is Joseph Akule. We are here purposely to invite the party leader to visit West Pokot. We know this is the time that most of our people, especially the heavyweights in our county, are leaning towards Jubilee. But now you have come here to assure the Republic of Kenya, particularly the ODM, that West Pokot people, the Pokot people, actually they are looking forward to meet Raila because they have an agenda and they have a message, and I've come here with my delegation to deliver that message, to invite him to West Pokot so that from there he will be able to say, this country will be able to say whether we are whether people at West Pokot are going to Jubilee side or to Court side. Now that we are in a liberation mood, the NASA is actually a liberation mood. And this country, we want to assure the nation that Pokot are not going to be left behind. They are part of the liberation that are going the third development for this country. And that is what we are here.
Thank you so much. Indeed, you just heard it from the chairman of ODM from West Pokot, that is Joseph Akule, bringing his delegation here to have at least a word with the party leader to convince them that the situation on the ground is still stable and there is welcome to the West Pokot County. We know very well that NASA will be having a rally in Eldoret this Saturday where the party leader, ODM party leader, together with other NASA principals will be attending. That is in Wasigishu County, which is the backyard of Deputy President William Ruto, who is who is allied to the Jubilee. So it is a very a week that is full of political activities across the country. Back to the studio, Akisa.
All right, we've heard from the West Pokot chairman there and their reasons for defecting. I don't know what the Kwale delegation and the other delegation talked about as saying on why they're jumping ship.
For the Kwale delegation, I did indicate that there is after the death of the former Senator Boy Juma Boy mid this month, there was a suggestion, a proposal from the family that he should be succeeded by his brother Isa Boy Juma, who has been also contesting, who's been harnessing political ambitions. But at the same time, also we had another proposal from the ODM party in Kwale, which suggested that Dr. Agnes Zani's brother Nicholas Zani should take over. You know, Nicholas Zani contested on a senatorial position in 2013 elections, and he emerged third after he was pipped by Juma and Ali Makwere, who came second, and Nicholas Zani came third during that 2013 polls. So the ODM branch has been of the opinion that Nicholas Zani should take the mantle from the late Boy Juma Boy, but then the late Juma Boy's family thinks that the brother Isa Juma should take the mantle and continue with the battle for ODM in Kwale County, which is said to be one of the strongholds of ODM. That is a matter that the Kwale delegation is trying to square out with the party leader Raila Odinga. Remember, Dr. Agnes Zani is the Secretary General of the party, and maybe given that she's a Secretary General, there could be a feeling that she might have an influence when it comes to those nominations and maybe favor her brother. So I think those are some of the issues that the party leader will try to look at to find a solution to the Kwale delegation and see how they will settle these Senate position, whether it is the late Boy Juma Boy's brother Isa will run for it, or it will be the Dr. Zani's brother Nicholas Zani will contest for that particular party ticket in Kwale County when time is due, because I think this time around there will be no by-election in Kwale County, because we are just heading to the election. So I think it's preparations to the August 8th polls who will take the senatorial party ticket. As for the Kajiado delegation, it's a delegation led mainly by women from Kajiado, and these women have been supporting Jubilee, but now there's a change of heart, and they now feel that they should put their support, they throw their weight behind ODM, and as a deal then maybe NASA eventually, because we saw yesterday ODM and CORE now merged into NASA to come up with a joint united front as we head towards the August 8th polls. Akisa?
Patrick, thank you very much for joining us. Our senior reporter, Patrick Amimo, there joining us from Orange House as ODM leader and CORD leader Raila Odinga receives defectors there. Let's now get into sports. The SportPesa All-Stars team arrived in London ready for their friendly match against Hull City at their KCOM Stadium on Monday evening. The Stanley Okumbi-led Chargers were in a buoyant mood as they landed at Heathrow Airport in London. The friendly match against Hull City is courtesy of Hull shirt sponsors SportPesa. The second leg will be played in Kenya in July at the Moi Sports Centre, Kasarani. Reports, however, indicate that Hull is not expected to field their top players for the friendly match for fear of getting injuries while they are fighting to avoid the axe in the English top-tier league. Okumbi, however, believes the match will expose his boys and is optimistic of registering good results regardless of the players Hull will be fielding.
Of course, we might leave here maybe 2 or 3 players, because there will be a lot of scouts here, of course, looking for the players. But for us, we must make sure that we perform so that maybe 2-3 players can be seen by those scouts.
Jamie Vardy broke his recent goal drought to give Leicester an away goal and keep alive their hopes of reaching the last 8 of the Champions League, despite a narrow first-leg defeat away to Sevilla at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. In a different tie, substitutes Marco Parker and Daniel Alves struck goals within 2 minutes of one another as Juventus punished 10-man Porto to take charge of their Champions League last 16 tie.
Big chance. Big save from Kasper Schmeichel. Now Nasri. Escudero with the cross. And headed into the back of the net by Sarabia. Coming in at the far post. And Sevilla have the lead.
It's an absolutely wonderful cross. It's a bullet header, but it's a bullet.
But here come the home team, and Morgan's going to be stretched here by Jovetic. Jovetic with support. It's a great chance for 2, and it is 2 for Sevilla. Thumped into the back of the net by Joaquin Correa. Gray with the return. Drinkwater looking for Jamie Vardy! Leicester City have a goal and a foothold in
Champions League this season, drawing with both Lyon and Sevilla. There's Piaka for Dybala. Oh, it might fall for Piaka!
We now wrap up part one of the bulletin as we close on KTN Home. Many thanks for joining us. We continue on KTN News on more stories that are making headlines in the country and beyond. My name is Akisa Wandera. Sign language interpreter has been William Silla. Good afternoon. See you in a bit.
Really not about how much money we are depositing in court.
Tulikuwa tunatupwa korokoroni mahali room iko na giza. Kiingia siasa, be prepared for anything. Tunataka ile executive itakuwa inatusolvia shida zetu.
Akiwa miongoni mwa wawakilishi wa kina mama nchini ambao wameamua kutetea nafasi yake ya wakilishi wa kaunti ya Busia.
On Worldview, we take you around the globe in 60 minutes, covering news from across borders. When history is made, we are right there to bring you the breaking story, global news makers and influencers that shape global policy. When new leaders are elected,
to come together as one united people.
I will not let you down.
And traditional norms challenged.
This is painful.
The conflicts that have defined the course of history. To celebrations as global peace champions are fitted.
The General Assembly has appointed you Secretary General of the United Nations.
Also, a sneak peek into global headlines on World Press and compelling details on sovereign states around the world on Country Facts. Worldview, taking you around the world in just 60 minutes.
Mtazamaji, ni saa 12 na dakika 3 saa za Afrika Mashariki. Mtazamaji, zimetimu saa 12 saa za Afrika Mashariki. Zimepita dakika 2 baada ya saa 12 saa za Afrika Mashariki. Ni kipindi kinacho kuelimisha.
Iko ile cholesterol tunaita HDL, high density lipoproteins.
Sisi tunaweza kuwa tunajilinda vizuri kwa kuchanja mifugo wetu na pengine upande ule mwingine hawachanji.
Unaweza juaje kwamba yule kuku ambaye umeuziwa ni wa kienyeji au ni yule wa kienyeji wa kisasa?
Kukufahamisha.
Kwa miaka kama 23 tumekuwa tukifanya biashara na ukulima ya miraa bila kujua miraa haswa ni nini, hata kwa sheria yetu ya Kenya.
Na kukupa nafasi kukutana ana kwa ana, kujadiliana na kuwauliza maswali viongozi wako kuhusu masuala muhimu.
Kama kuna cartel, kama kuna ufisadi, mimi sitaki kuona hiyo story kwa TV.
Uongozi na masuala mengine ambayo yanakutatiza katika kaunti.
Hawa Waisraeli wanafuka ng'ombe katika nchi ambayo ni jangwa na wanafanya mzuri sana.
Wakati wote ukumbuke lazima ukunje magoti kidogo.
Na tunafanya chest compressions kutumia tunasema heel of the hand.
Kinachokutatiza tunakipa kipaumbele. Milima na mabonde tunavuka ili kukufikia wewe.
Walijumuika hapa katika uwanja wa Turkana.
Kwa hii leo tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka kaunti ya Kericho. Ni kaunti.
Ugatuzi ndio roho ya Wakenya na jukwaa la KTN ndio moyo wa Wakenya.
Africa means business. Major industries, innovative technology, small enterprises. I'm Alexandria Majala, and now that you know Africa means business, join us every week to meet the movers and shakers of the African continent.
Welcome back. You are watching KTN Newsdesk. Many thanks for joining us. Now, the Trade Union Congress of Kenya is now calling for the disbandment of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, accusing it of destabilizing trade unions. Addressing the media today, the Secretary General Wilson Sossion claimed the SRC is the hidden hand that is interfering with doctors and lecturers' dispute negotiations. Our reporter Nicholas Wambua attended that particular press briefing and now joins us live from our City Centre studios with an update. Very good afternoon to you, Nicholas. The Secretary General there made very serious allegations against the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. But why now? It has been 80 days since doctors went on strike and about 3 weeks since lecturers went on strike.
Thank you very much, Akisa. And just as you mentioned, the General Secretary for the Trade Unions Congress of Kenya, that is TUCKE, Wilson Sossion, has just mentioned that what is needed right now is for the Constitution to be implemented and have the SRC out of the Constitution or out of its mandate that it's given right now, because it is hindering most of the talks that are happening, that is talk about the doctors, talk about the lecturers. And he says that unless now the SRC is taken, disbanded, then they are not going to stop facing the same challenges that they are facing with their affiliate parties, that is for the TUCK. So Akisa, yes, the Trade Unions Congress wants the SRC to be taken out of office, but then at the same time is that they are saying that there are efforts from the government to try to write off the labor unions in the country, whereby they are seeing the members being upset by the government, or being efforts being made to make sure that any effort that they make to make sure that their welfare is taken care of, then it is being countered by the government. And again, Akisa, on addition to that, they're saying that right now in this period of elections, they're saying that they are going to make sure that every party that is vying for any seat or that is running is registered in the parties, then they are going to make sure that they do, or they are going to make sure that they do. They make sure that they are going to go through their manifestos to check what they have, or what they have for the trade unions and what they have for the workers in this country, to make sure that the parties are just not for personal gains, but for the gains of the Kenyans. Back to Akisa.
All right, Nicholas, as I mentioned earlier, it has been about 80 days for the doctors, 81 to be precise, almost a month for the lecturers. We've not had much from this particular union, with the Secretary General being Wilson Sossion, and most of the blame, he says, is on the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. What are the stumbling blocks, he says, SRC is putting to ensure that doctors, lecturers, and all these other unions don't get what, according to Wilson Sossion, they deserve?
First of all, like he says that the TUCK wants or gives the government up to midnight to make sure that the doctor strike and the lecturer strike is solved, and any other pending strike is solved before midnight. And therefore, they are saying that now this is the SRC that is coming in between the government, the unions, are the parties in contention here. Let us talk about the doctors and the lecturers. They are saying that it is the SRC that is coming in between these two parties to make sure that the negotiations do not take part as required, or they do not get something that is meaningful at the end of the day. So they are saying that, and now this is SRC that is coming in between, and unless now the SRC is disbanded from the Constitution, then we are not going to see the end to this problem. So they're saying that they are giving the government up to midnight tonight to make sure that they are the strikes are solved, that is the doctors and the lecturers. So they are saying that they are only they're only giving a period of a few hours that's remaining to 12 a.m. today to make sure that these stalemate in the health sector and in the education sector is solved. They're also saying that they are ready, their members, their affiliate members are ready for any CBA signing or to come into agreement with the government or to make any agreements with the government. So they're saying that theirs is not the problem. They have no problem in sitting with the government, but now the problem remains with the SRC.
Nick, thank you very much for joining us. Nicholas Wambua there, joining us from our city centre studios. Let's now cross over to Mombasa, where over 200 medical workers in Mombasa County this morning held a demonstration to protest against what they termed as discrimination in salary allowances. They marched to the governor's office, and the workers were addressed by County Secretary Francis Othoya and Acting County Executive Committee Member for Health Binti Omar and Health Chief Officer Hadija Shikeli.
Kile nimesema ni kwamba tukubaliane kimsingi kwamba mumeleta mapendekezo fulani. Na haya mapendekezo tumekubali, tutayaangalia. Nimesema muna haki kama mfanyajikazi mwingine yoyote, na kama kuna pesa mnahitaji kupewa, mutapewa. Tumeelewana? Kama kuna pesa ambazo mnastahili kupewa, mutapewa. Lakini kwa sasa, kwa sababu ni swala ambalo lazima liangaliwe katika department, wataangalia na watuletee ile gharama yote kwa jumla ni kiasi gani. Lazima tu budget for hizi pesa, watatueleza exactly katika budget yao kama wameweka ni pesa ngapi.
Meanwhile, striking lecturers in Machakos University have vowed to press on with industrial action until their pay demands are met. The lecturers staged a demonstration outside the university, echoing their national officials' demands for full implementation of the collective bargaining agreement, which they claimed the government had refused to honor. Led by their union leaders, they vowed to resist all threats or intimidation directed at them.
Since the starting of the semester, we have been suffering. Remember, comrades have been paying fee, some have paid fee already, and then there are those who are paying rent, there are those who are paying for their food each and every day. If a comrade is surviving on 50 or 100 per day, times 30, that is 3,000, plus rent. Some are paying 3,000, some are paying 3,500. That is going for a waste. And then we have now come to a conclusion that the government should engage this lecturer on a serious note so that comrades return to school.
Sisi tumedhulumiwa sana as students. Hatuwezi beba wana namna hii. Remember, our parents have sent us here to take papers at home and work for the same. Wanataka kutuona sisi tumenawiri. Comrades power. Allow me be as brief like a cock on a hen and say that enough is enough.
Our sister union went to court, and the court passed that they have to table the documents, the necessary documents, so that we can continue with the negotiations. So I can strongly say, just as my National Secretary General echoes, that we cannot negotiate without those three documents. They are very, very vital, they are very, very crucial, and without them we cannot go far. What I can also echo is that the strike is on. We have not suspended, we have not called off the strike. It continues until the government behaves.
Turkana leaders led by the county Senator John Munyes have refuted claims that the county was a national super alliance stronghold. Speaking in Loima in Turkana West, the leaders claimed that what used to be perceived as ODM territory has changed allegiance to Jubilee. They were reacting to media reports indicating that the county was among NASA's strongholds.
Turkana, kusema ukweli, tukiona kwa ile statistics ni Jubilee zone. Wabunge constituencies zita 6 constituencies ni moja peke yake ndio mtu amedefect from Jubilee akaingia NASA, na ameenda kwa sababu tunajua hatapata kura.
Ukienda Turkana East ni Jubilee, Turkana North ni Jubilee, Turkana South ni Jubilee, Turkana Central ni Jubilee, Turkana County ni Jubilee. Senator ambaye tuko naye Saa hii ni Jubilee ambaye atakuwa gavana wetu.
Mimi mwenyewe nilihama katika ODM na kwa sababu niliona huko ni mambo ya vitandawili, ni mambo ya uongo, ni mambo ya kuja kuchukua pesa yetu katika kaunti ya Turkana in the name of supporting NASA atiingia katika uongozi.
Truth be told, there is no confusion about the vote of Turkana. I've been here for the last 3 days and Turkanas all have made their mind that they are in Jubilee.
Wamesema ya kwamba inaonekana kaunti ya Turkana haiko kati ya kaunti za Jubilee. Ati ninyi hamuko na Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru. Sijui kama hiyo ni ukweli.
And Kajiado County gubernatorial aspirant Teraya Olekores now says he has the necessary academic papers to run for the county's top job. The current Kenya Meat Commission chairman, who was blocked in 2013 race, has now opted for a comeback after going back to school. Speaking in Kitengela while addressing the public, the former Olkejuado Council chairman said that he is confident of winning the seat currently held by David Nkedianye.
Kuna wanasiasa walemavu ambaye hawana manifesto. Manifesto yao ni kusema Kores hana stakabadhi za shule. Na ningewaambia wawache udaku, waende shule ile nilikuwa, wahakikishe kama nilienda shule au la. Mwananchi pia ambaye anataka kuridhika, yule yuko hapa, andika barua Kenya National Examination Council, uliza kama Ole Kores alikuwa form 4. Andika barua ingine Mount Kenya University, vile Ole Kores kama alikuwa student kule. Ukipata reply, weka kwa gazeti. Mpango ya kwanza ni kurudisha Uhuru Kenyatta kwa kiti yake. Ya pili tumesema liwalo na liwe, gavana wa kaunti ya Kajiado lazima akuwe Jubilee. Tumesema pia wabunge wote wa bunge kuu lazima wakuwe Jubilee wote.
Parents of children living with various disabilities have been urged to educate them like other children. The chairman of the National Council of Persons Living with Disabilities, Dr. David Olesankok, said that his office will work towards ensuring that standards of special schools in the country are improved. He noted that majority of children living with disabilities end up leading a miserable life due to discrimination in their early life. He was commissioning the construction of a 6 million shilling dining hall at the Christian School for Hearing Impaired Children in Homa Bay.
And as a government, we want to target the marginalized and the weaker members of our society. Of course, schools in Kisumu, Homa Bay town are more advantaged, and these ones are disadvantaged. And we have chose and selected the most disadvantaged remote special schools.
We'd like to thank the parents, the teachers of the school, the county government, and lastly our partners in the National Council of People Living with Disabilities for their support in making this project a reality.
As I go to the international front, the United Nations is asking for a $5.6 billion to funding for humanitarian operations in nations where people risk starvation. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says $4.4 billion will be needed by the end of March to help nearly 20 million people who risk starvation in Nigeria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen. Meanwhile, the United Nations has warned that some 2 million refugees across Africa are facing critical food shortages in food assistance. This is according to the World Food Programme and the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Refugee operations in 10 African countries have experienced cuts affecting the quantity and quality of food assistance for approximately 2 million refugees. United Nations agencies have warned that war and a collapsing economy have left some 100,000 people facing starvation in parts of South Sudan, where famine, which was declared on Monday,
nearly doubled from 2.6 million in 2011 to nearly 5 million in 2016. While donor funding for refugee assistance increased during this period, it did not keep pace with rapidly rising needs. As a result, the humanitarian response is significantly underfunded, and this has forced cuts in food assistance for some groups of refugees.
Today, more than 20 million people
in South Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, and northeast Nigeria are going hungry and facing devastating levels of food insecurity. Famine is already a reality in parts of South Sudan. Unless we act now, it is only a matter of time until it affects other areas and other countries. We are facing a tragedy. We must avoid it becoming a catastrophe. This is preventable if the international community takes decisive action.
Back into the country, Manu Chandaria has donated 2.4 million shillings in support of a health clinic in Kibra. The satellite clinic, which will now be named Chandaria Clinic, will attend to 120 patients daily. Their target, they say, is to make healthcare accessible and affordable for Kibra residents. There's a clinic in the area, but there are equally too many people trying to access services.
We will support the children. We will support. It's going to be primary health care for people who can't afford it and affordable. At the same time, we used to have a small one whereby it got congested. So we are trying to create clinics so that other people can also be able to come into.
Last year or year before last, we supported Gertrude to build a Chandaria medical center for the children. And again last year, we supported and endowed a Chandaria Cancer Center at the Moi Referral Hospital. And this would be another addition to it. And if they can do it more, then we'll certainly like them to see if they can do it in one in Korogocho and one in the other slums that we have got over here. So all we would like to see if we can help as much as we can in the health center.
All right, let's now take a look at how voting is going on in the diaspora, specifically our neighbor in Uganda. Remember, the mass voter registration exercise ended for Kenyans, and currently the exercise is ongoing for Kenyans in the diaspora and in prisons. Our reporter in Kampala, Uganda, Solomon Serwanja, filed a report for us from there. Let's take a look.
What really will be the requirements for the Kenyans to cast their ballots? It's good to have you on the program. It's such a great honor for me to be here at the Kenyan High Commission. We'll start with just a few basic questions, how the registration has so far gone since yesterday.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Odame, Manager Voter Registration with the IEBC. We started off well yesterday with a meeting with the stakeholders where we met Kenyans who are living in Kampala or Uganda. This included the students, representatives from Makerere and Kampala University. We had also the business community around here. We had a very good discussion in the terms of collaboration and mobilization of Kenyans so that they can come and take advantage of this opportunity to register as voters.
All right, if you can tell us how the reception was yesterday, how many people turned up, were they in huge numbers, and your expectations today?
Yeah, we expected today to have more Kenyans because yesterday was just the beginning. We registered 21 Kenyans. There are others who have also requested to be transferred from one polling station to the next, or from here to Kenya, back to Kenya.
Okay, it's good to have you again. Thank you so much for sharing your views with us. Welcome to the team leader of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission here, taking over the whole process. If you can just tell us the requirements that the Kenyans need to come with to register, and also how many polling stations that we have.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Kampala. Good morning, Kenya. My name is Joyce Ekwam. I'm the team leader for the IBC team in Kampala. The requirements for registration, especially when you are a Kenyan living in diaspora, is a valid Kenyan passport for new registration. And we would want to actually make it even clear to Kenyans living here that we are also allowing transfers. If, for example, you registered in Kenya and you want to register to vote in Kampala, we are also offering those services. And therefore, we need you to come with a photocopy of the document you used to register, initially in the first place. If, for example, you use an ID in Kenya and you want to vote here, we requesting you to come with a photocopy of the ID. And if you used the passport, you also come with a photocopy of the passport and the original passport for the new registration in Kampala.
Okay. Will also this be the same, registration, the voting center for all Kenyans in Uganda, or you have organized other polling stations?
Yes, this will be the only polling station for Kenyans living in Kampala, the High Commission, the Kenyan High Commission in Kampala. This is the ground where we'll be setting the polling stations, and therefore it's good that if Kenyans know that this is the only place they'll be voting from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in Uganda, during the elections and the registration process, we used to have issues with the system, the whole registration system. Sometimes we had errors, and it really took quite a while for us to rectify the whole process. How different is it with the IEBC?
The issue of errors and things like that is something that we cannot actually talk about now, because we have put in place our systems that are very good to go. We have actually hyped the systems, and the systems for registration and voting will be very good for Kenyans to have an experience with. As you can see, we had several Kenyans registering. We have registered 9 today, and yesterday we registered 20 new registrations. And of course, in addition to that, we had also people transferring and people also coming for information, which is very important. So for Kenyans living in Uganda, in Kampala, and many other towns within the boundaries of Uganda, we are actually wholesome in providing a customer-oriented service, because we are also going beyond registration by giving people information. So all are welcome.
All right, final question for me. What are your
Well, as the voters' registration exercise is ongoing in Uganda, from what we've seen from our reporter Solomon Serwanja there from Kampala, defectors from various areas, West Pokot and Kwale counties respectively, have been received at the Orange House here in Nairobi by ODM leader Raila Odinga, who's currently making an address after receiving them. Let's just cross over there live and listen in.
Waende Uganda wakati huu ili waweze kunusurisha nini yao, ng'ombe yao. Sasa nikajiuliza, kwa nini hatuwezi kufanya hapa sisi? Mliona tulichimba nini bwawa hapo nini? Ilikuwa pale inaitwa ile damu tulijenga Mashuru. Sisi tulichimba damu pale wakati
it was swept away by the rains.
Manake kulikuwa hakuna mtu ambaye anashughulikia. Lakini hiyo tulikuwa tumeanza ni kama mfano ya yale ambayo tunaweza kufanya. Manake wakati mvua inanyesha na mnyesha kwa fujo kabisa, mnaleta mafuriko. Hiyo maji yote yanachukuliwa na mito naenda baharini. Lakini bahari haina haja na maji. Iko na maji ya kutosha baharini. Hapa nchi kavu ndio tuko na haja na maji. Tunaweza kuchimba hizo mabwawa makubwa na tunavuna naye maji, ili wakati kama hii ya kiangazi tuko na maji ya kutosha. Ya kwanza. Ya pili, tuko na source zingine za maji ya kutumia kwa binadamu. Tunaweza kusambaza hiyo maji ili karibu na pale ambapo watu wanaishi, ili akina mama wasichukue muda mrefu na kwenda wanatafuta maji mbali zaidi. Sengine nabeba maji na punda. Ninaheshima sana na kina mama wa Masai. Amebeba mtoto hapa, amebeba maji hapa. Anatembea naye makilomita mingi zaidi. Yale tunaweza kupunguza shida hizo sisi kama serikali. Lakini haiwezi kufanyika ikiwa kama unaambia tu maneno matupu. Utaoti mimi tunajenga reli kutoka Mombasa kuja Nairobi. Leta stima kwa manyumba ya watu. Stima analekea mtu na nyumba ya nyasi inasaidia nini? Na hiyo stima mara mbili kwa mwezi ndio hiyo stima inaonekana. Hii inaitwa misguided, misdirected initiatives ambayo haisaidii watu. Tuangalie yale ambayo inaweza kusaidia watu wetu zaidi. Wakati ile tulikuwa na kiangazi 2009 na 2010, tulianza ile mpango ya dharura ya kununua mifugo kwa watu kama zijakufa, na tuliweka bei sawa, hata kama imekonda au kama ni bei ilikuwa ni sawa, tulikuwa tunanunua tunapeleka Athi River. Kenya mzima tuliweka ili wafugaji wasije kupata hasara kama mifugo zina konda zinakufa, hakuna malisho. Hii yote haijafanyika wakati huu. Kiangazi imekuja inafagia nchi kila mahali.
ODM leader Raila Odinga there receiving defectors from Kajiado County, West Pokot County and Kwale County with just roughly about 6 months to the general election. Definitely the season of alignments and realignments, and of course the defections are very much expected. He's making an address there from the ODM office here in Nairobi. We'll definitely be bringing you details on the same. Remember, Kanu is also holding its National Executive Council meeting today, where they will decide which presidential candidate they will be supporting. Which way will it be for Kanu? Will it go the NASA way or the Jubilee Party way? These are details we will definitely have for you here on KTN News. But we wrap it up on this note. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN Newsdesk. And of course, up next, we will take a look at the top stories of the hour. Before I pave way for the business team, our sign language interpreter has been William Sila, and I am Akisa Wandera. Good afternoon.